Okay, I think everyone's in. Hi guys, my name is Kristen and I'm one of the organizers of Urban Craft Uprising, and I'm gonna moderate most of this conversation. So if you guys have questions, we're just asking everyone to keep your mic muted unless obviously you have a question or anything, just so it's not distracting. But if you have a question, you can just put it in the chat and I can see it there. If it's a good time to interrupt Lindsay, I'll ask it at that time or just save it for the end of the conversation. But since there's not too many of you guys in here, we thought everyone could go around and just introduce themselves, say their name and what they do. I'll have Lindsay start and then we can just, I'll read your name off of my list and just go in that order, just so we can all say hello and see some new faces or some old faces.
Okay, I'm Lindsay. I'm with Urban Craft Uprising, as Kristen said. And yeah, I'm here today to talk to you about filling out your booth load-in form. It looks like some of you who are here have already done it, but we'll go into more detail.
All right, so my first person I have is Jamie at Goddamn Man Co. Are you here?
They might not be here.
Oh. How about Roxy?
Hello. Yes, my name's Roxy. I am the owner of Wild by Design. I make preserved botanical jewelry. And yeah, this is my first time at the show, so I thought I should log in here and get all the good information I needed.
Nice. Next I have Amy Reeder.
Hi, my name is Amy of Amy Reeder Artist, and I do fiber art and fiber art jewelry. This is my first show. I moved to Portland a year ago at the start of the pandemic, so I'm finally getting to do things in the Pacific Northwest now. So yeah, good to meet everyone.
Welcome to the Pacific Northwest. Nice here. Next I have Jess.
Hi, I am Jess. I'm made wherever I am. I do knitwear, textiles, colorful bandana type scarves. And I was at the in-person show last year. It was the last event right before we all shut down.
Oh yeah.
Excited to do it virtually without having to drive a long way from Truckee, California. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't realize you were in California. That's cool. Well, we're glad to see you again. And then we have Cass. Awkward Affections.
Hi, I'm Kaz. My brand is Awkward Affections. I make cheeky greeting cards and illustration art prints. So.
Cool. Welcome. And then I have Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Seidman. I own Modern Nature Art, which is a line of greeting cards, coloring books, and calendars, as well as some line art prints.
Nice. And then I have Minnie.
Hi, my name is Minnie, and my daughter and I, we have a business called Samsara. So we make handcrafted purses, wallets, DIY jewelry kits, coasters, all out of cork fabric. And we are based in San Jose, California. And we've been wanting to do this show for a couple of years, but it was hard driving all the way. So I'm very happy to this year.
Oh, cool. We've got cute Californians. That's cool. Next I see Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm in Seattle. Burien, just south of Seattle. But I also do greeting cards. I've been told most often that they tell it like it is, but they're always uplifting. So yeah, I'm a first timer this year. I'm super excited.
Nice. I love all the first timers. Then we have an old timer, Sasha.
Hello, I'm Sasha, and my business is Mrs. Robinson's Affair, and it's wire wrap jewelry with natural gemstones. And yeah, I'm really excited that this show is virtual so that hopefully we'll have a bigger reach. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome. Nice to see you.
You too.
Then we have another one that's been with us for a while, Stacy. Hi.
Hi, I'm Stacy Wong. My business is Stacy Wong Handmade. I make modern wood goods, decor, and gifts. And actually, last year was my first time with Urban Craft Uprising.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you've been with us forever.
I had a lot of fun doing the virtual events with you guys, so I thought I'd try the wholesale as well. So I'd love to get into more shops in the Pacific Northwest.
Awesome. Well, we want you to too. And then we have Yuko, last but not least.
Hi, thank you. My name is Yuko, and my business is Honeyberry Studios, and I make adorable cards and prints and stickers and stuff, and soon tea towels are coming. And yeah, I've done a handful of UCU shows, and it's always fun. I did a couple of the Seattle gift shows and the Handmade show in 2019. I think summer show was the wholesale show.
Were you at the the summer wholesale show? Not the one in the hangar? Okay. And then Kim, you just logged in, but we were just going around to introduce ourselves. So if you want to jump in, feel free. If not, we'll just move to Lindsay. All right. Hi, Kim. Maybe I don't hear you.
Muted.
Oh, she's muted. All right, well, I'm just gonna move on. So Lindsay, do you wanna take it away?
So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go through the booth load-in form that we sent you guys in your newsletter and kind of take it step by step. And we'll also look at one of the booth pages we've already built out to sort of see how they correlate, so you can kind of get a feel for what you're uploading and how it translates to the booth page. And then as we go through, you can sort of jump in with any questions you have, or something's confusing, or if you're not sure what we mean by something or how to upload it. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Oh, Kristen, can I share my screen, please? Thank you. So I will share my screen. Oops, let's get off there. So this is the load-in form as you will see it, how you're gonna fill it out. Let me get to the top there. And what I did was I started today, we built up the first booth, and this is for Sayori and Stoneware. So we're gonna use that as an example as we go through. So you guys probably already saw the mock booth page we sent, but this is one with an actual, some actual vendors stuff in there, so you can sort of see what it's gonna look like. So the first thing here, a lot of this is just some kind of really basic stuff, but you'll start with your email address. We ask for your Zoom email address right here too, which might be the same thing. The reason being, we just want to make sure that you guys have your own Zoom account and you're set up for that. We are not going to host you on our Zoom account this time like we did for those of you who were with us in the winter show. We're going to have you host your own meetings, but we just want to make sure that you either have a Zoom account or you're thinking ahead and signing up for one if you don't already, so that you can be prepared for that when that time comes. So that's why that is there. So the booth elements. So what it's going to start with is your business name, as you would like it to appear to buyers, and that's going to be displayed right here, right up at the top. And your headshot. So what this is going to look like is we have these things called hover cards, and this vendor actually uploaded what looks like a logo instead of their headshot. So I will show you the mock booth. So you can see what we're kind of picturing here. So when you upload your headshot, what it's going to look like is something like this, and it's called a hover card. So when you hover over it, it flips around and it will display your vendor bio on the back panel. And as I was going through the booths today, I realized we'd forgotten to add a little spot on the load-in form for your vendor bio up until today. So any of you who already filled out the form, you would have got an email from me earlier today just asking to send that along via email, so we can add it. But anyone who fills it out, from today onwards, you'll see there's a spot here for your headshot and a spot here for your vendor bio. So that'll just be on that card when it flips around. And we give two options because for these we prefer if you can submit it via an actual URL, like give us the address for the image instead of uploading it. But we understand that for headshots and the video files, you might not necessarily have like a static address for that. So it's fine if you want to upload it using this tool, you can do that too. So we have those options there. And that is going to be this part right here. And then what comes next is a chance for you to add a little video about your business. So this is really cool because it'll give, as buyers are sort of browsing through your booths, you know, it can give them a more interactive view, and it's sort of a little catchier than an image. You can, if you want to just upload a static image or a logo, that's fine too. But here's like a little example of this vendor. They've uploaded this cool video. I think it's kind of long, so I won't play the whole thing. But you know, it just kind of gives like a little visually engaging idea of what you do, and you know, you kind of draw buyers in that way. So it's a nice long one, so I'll pause it there. But that's your chance to add a video. And so again, for that option, if you have a URL, so for example, you know, if you have your videos uploaded to YouTube or somewhere where you can actually grab the embedded URL link, this is where you would put that. But again, if you just have it as a file on your computer, you can just upload it here and we can grab it and re-upload it for you. So that is what that part is going to be right there. Just beneath that, we're going to put your location. And so that's what we will actually grab it from your original application. So we'll just say your city and state where you're from to give buyers a little idea right off the bat. And then just below that, we'll have your social. So this is how they can, you know, access you on Instagram or Facebook. And you'll see we'll request for you to put those URLs right here. These we do want in the HTTP format. So for example, if you just put, you know, your handle like at Yarnia PDX, it will give you an error message requesting that you actually put it in the format like this actual URL, instagram.com/Yarnia PDX. So you'll see the error message if you don't do that. But that's how we would like that to be entered there. And then for this custom text, this is where you can really kind of tell buyers anything special that you want to tell them. So this could be a show special, maybe, you know, you're doing free shipping, or you know, if you order some sort of minimum, something exciting happens. But also if you you know, have anything else you want to add there, it could be anything about, I don't know, in-town pickup, or I don't know, really whatever you want. This is kind of your place where you can customize it and tell the buyers what you want them to know. Are there any questions so far? No? Okay. So that's sort of the, I think, you know, easier basic part. Now, where we get to the product shots, this is where you'll really want to think about what you're going to have displayed on your page. So I'm just going to scroll down so you guys can see. And if you want to access this on your own computer too, you can just type this URL into your browser. And it's actually already live on the site. We just haven't like publicized it yet. But so you can sort of see how this vendor has set up their product. So what we ask for in the load-in form is the image, a title, a caption, and a link for every single image. And so what that translates to is whatever image you give us will display right here. The title is right here just beneath it. The caption is just beneath that. And then the link is what happens when you click on the image. It'll open it up in your own personal shop. So that way, you know, buyers can see that they can click right through to there. And so you are able to create up to 5 categories. So for example, this vendor, the first category she's done is just popular items, you know, so you can do bestsellers or whatever you want. And you can really organize these however you want. So the way we're asking you to input these is...
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you put that URL in the chat?
Sure.
Thanks.
Actually can't go to the chat though on screen sharing, I don't think. Give me 1 second. There we go. There we go. Okay, that should be there now. Resume share. Cool. So what you're going to do here is, first of all, so this whole first section is just about your category 1. So tell us your product, the product name, the name of the category. And for the images, these, again, we want these in URL format. And so you're going to want to list these in the same order as you list your titles below, and then the captions below, and the links. So probably the easiest way to organize this is on your end. You know, come up with like, what's your image number 1, and figure out what the image URL is, what you want your title to be, what you want your caption to be, and what the link is for that. So Basically, the reason we want it to be sort of in that order is as we pull these and build your booth out of them, that's how we're going to correlate, you know, which image links up to which title and caption and all that. So just make sure that you're keeping them in the same order as you go through. And so in terms of, does anybody here have questions about how to grab their image URL? Does everyone know what I mean when I say that? Okay. Just for people who are going to watch this recording.
Someone does have one question about using, you know, Fair.
Mm-hmm.
So she just wants to know if using that link for the products to go to Fair, because they use Fair for all wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
Can they use that link?
As long as it's an image and as long as it's not protected. So the only trouble we ran into today when I was building out the first few of these was someone included, as their image links, they were images on their Google Drive, which doesn't work because those are protected and they have to be, you know, kind of shared with every individual user who wants to see them. If there is a way to unprotect them and you can make it a public link, you may have to go through and do that for every single image, then that will work. But essentially what happens when you click on a private link that isn't shared with you is it, you know, just takes you to like a request permission page, basically. So something like that will not work, but as long as it's an actual image file, that should be totally fine. And one way to test that is you can take the URL you're thinking about, copy it, and paste it into like a separate browser that you're not signed into. If you're signed into your Fair account or something, paste it somewhere else to make sure it's not just accessible because you're signed into your own account. But if you can open that in a new browser tab, then that should be a fine image to use. I mean, typically, if you go to your own website and just kind of right-click on the image, that should be enough to bring down a menu where you can just move this tab now. Where you can grab the image, but sorry, I know some websites, if they use like embedded images and they're kind of more protected, it might be like a WEP image. Here's what I'm trying to talk about. So for me, I would just click on this image, right click on it. I would say copy image location, and that brings up a URL that looks like that. And so that's an image URL that would be accessible by anybody, any computer. I mean, a good tip is you want it to end in some sort of image extension like JPEG, GIF, PNG, something like that. So that's probably the easiest way to do it. But as long as it's something you can grab and paste into a browser, that should really work.
Does that answer your question, Roxy?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You just said that. And
I
then
had a question. I'm sorry, Lindsay.
Yeah.
About the images, because I was trying to pull them off my Shopify website, and then I have 5 images on each product or so. So when I was trying to grab it, it pulled the small image, which is like the thumbnail. So I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong. I don't know.
It's possible that it's possible Shopify might shrink them. If you want to paste your URL, the page you're talking about into chat, I can test it and see.
Okay.
I don't use Shopify, but I'm sure a lot of vendors do, so that might be a good thing to know if you want to. You can get a little test run if you want.
Okay.
And then Michelle wanted to know if they can upload to Flickr.
If they can take it from Flickr? Or, like upload it to Flickr so they can grab the URL, you mean?
Michelle, why don't you just pop on into, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
so my website is in development right now, and it's being redesigned, and so I don't have links to things, but I was thinking I could upload them to a Flickr album, perhaps. I wasn't sure if you knew whether that would work.
That should work as long as the image is shareable. So, I mean, there may be some permissions you have to check.
Okay.
On the photos, it might say something like make this public or publicly accessible. I'm not sure, but you may have to check something to like unprotect it and make it accessible. But as long as it's, that should be fine. Really, anywhere you want to do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So once you have the images there, so the titles, like I said, it's going to be this part right here. So you want to keep these, kind of brief. But just like this vendor's done, kind of nice and simple, just telling what you're looking at. Now the captions here, again, you want to keep it fairly brief, or at the very least keep them consistent, because what's going to happen is, as you can see, if one of the descriptions is way longer, it's just going to make the entire row look kind of wonky. So I'd say just try to keep them consistent with everything else in the row, just so it looks a little more even. But that's going to be what the caption is about right there. So you can tell them all about that. And then the links are where you want that image to link to when it's clicked. So again, this will probably lead to your own, your own site. So plug the link in there. And then really that's all you have to do for each category. So we've given you the option. The first category here, you'll see everything's required, but you can, if you want, you can only do one category. You can do up to 5 categories if you like. So after that, it's kind of the same thing over and over. Product name, images, titles, captions, links. And you can really fill in as many of these categories as you want, up to 5.
Ask why some of it was red and some of it was black.
Oh, on the page?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was a hover thing. Oh, I know. It's that should be the link. It looks like, I feel like it's delayed. I thought it was when you hover it turns red. That's not what's happening here.
It looks like
I think this one does not have a link. I think it's red when it's linked. This one does not have a link. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. So this is, as you can see, this is on repeat. She only has 3 images and they're repeating, which is why that's what it is. So that's linked, that's linked. Yeah. So normally they would all be red. I'll look into why there's no link for this one.
Okay.
But typically they would all be red. Does someone else have a question? No? Okay. So after inputting your images, the last part down here is availability. So what's going to happen is on your page, and I'll show you right here, underneath all your products, there's going to be this appointment calendar. And so each day of the show, from June 3rd to the 6th, we have these time slots, and they're in half-hour windows. And this is where buyers can actually sign up to schedule an appointment with you if they, are interested in your work and they want to discuss it. And they basically just, pick a time, pick a date, and they can request. They're going to fill out this information. We're going to fix this part here. And then they're going to send you an appointment request. So what we want to know is, we're going to assume that everyone is available for all the show hours. But what this question is about here is, in case you have any times when you're not available. Now, what I've noticed as I'm going through and programming these is, it doesn't have a ton of flexibility in terms of like blocking out parts of the day. So if there's entire days you're not available, like not available at all on Thursday, Friday, put that in there. But if you're just not available until like 10 o'clock in the morning or something, unfortunately, there's not too much we can do there because we have to keep it consistent within the hours. So in that case, what'll happen is essentially you have control on your end. If a buyer tries to make an appointment with you at 9 o'clock, you will first get the request, and then for every single request, you're going to have the opportunity to accept it or cancel it, and you can contact them and tell them why. But essentially, in that case, you would just say, okay, I'm not available at 9:30. How does 10 o'clock work or something? So if it's just a small,
just make an appointment for themselves, like at 9 and 9:30, so that
so it's blocked out. I could try, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an option too. What I've noticed so far what I've seen people who have filled it out is, it looks like for the most part people just, there's entire days when they're not available. Or if it's like every day you're not available after 3 o'clock, we can do that. So as long as it's sort of consistent from day to day, we can change that. Yeah, but if there's just small little blocks, or if you want to take a lunch break or something, you can also control that on your end and say, okay, I'm not going to book any appointments, between 12 and 1 or something like that. So that is what this question pertains to here. And again, also here you have the choice. By default, we're booking them as 30-minute appointments. But if you want to have more time or more of a window in between each one, we can set it up for you. So these are 45-minute appointments instead. So you can just let us know that there. And that is basically it in terms of what to fill out on the form and sort of how it translates here. Does anybody have any other questions about either the form or kind of how it's going to work or otherwise?
Do you recommend that all the photos be the same height or width or both, and what about resolution?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, these are set to be I think there are 300 pixel thumbnails. So the resolution doesn't have to be huge because it does shrink down pretty small. I mean, honestly, I have not done any resizing here. This is literally just what the vendor sent, and I think they look good. So I think probably what the program is doing is it's kind of automatically centering and shrinking to fit this. So far, I mean, what we'll do if we find that something you've uploaded or sent us really looks weird, we will definitely let you know and say, here's a screenshot, this is what it looks like. Do you want to, you know, try a different orientation or resize it or something? And also, once we finish with building out your booth page, you'll have a chance to look at the entire thing before it goes live and, you know, put in any changes or fixes that you need. So you'll have quite a few opportunities to look at it and make sure it looks the way you want it to. But I'd say to begin with, as long as the image looks good where you're originally grabbing it from, I think it should look fine here. I feel like so far the tool's done a pretty good job of like resizing it properly to make it fit. So
I have a video question.
Yeah.
So I finished making my video yesterday and I filmed it on my phone camera because it's a really nice camera, and I put it all together and it looks great. And then I uploaded it to YouTube and I looked at it online and it's in this like small kind of, it's not too small, but it's adjusted to the phone screen size. And I am just wondering if you have any idea if that's going to look really weird on the page, or...
I would suggest trying it on your computer first, because probably, I mean, if you can go to YouTube and look and try to play it on your, you know, like a laptop or desktop screen, that'll probably be a pretty good representation of what it's going to look like here. I mean, here it'll probably be sized down a little bit more because it's going to be, you know, this is not a huge video player. So I would say as long as it looks good on your screen in something this size or...
Yeah, I saw it on my computer screen and it looked like you can see it. It's just has like the blacked out side lines to the video. And I don't know how I would resize, because it was filmed on my phone. So I don't know if I could resize it.
Yeah.
To not be that way.
I'm not a YouTube expert, but I bet if you just Google like, you know, iPhone video to YouTube
formatting or something
like
that.
Like I'm sure, like I actually don't do a lot of like video uploading or YouTube, but I know it's I mean, obviously people do. So I would say, I bet that's an easy fix and probably just a setting on one or the other.
Okay.
I would do that.
Okay, thank you.
There's an app called InShot that I've used a couple times to just for this type of thing. And it will basically let you like crop the video. And I think I have to reinstall it to know for sure, but I think they have like a YouTube preset.
Oh, that's great. Okay, thank you.
Well,
it's called InShot.
Lots of ads, but it's free.
Okay.
I know I've seen on Video Converters an option specifically for YouTube. So I'm wondering, that's why I think, there must be some setting you can do that just, if you tell it that it's for YouTube, it'll hopefully convert it the right way. So, yeah.
Great, thank you.
I also wanted to tell, there were a couple people that came pretty late into this, that this is being recorded. So we'll have this up for you guys to view again if you want to revisit any of the information or if you missed some of the beginning. So I just wanted to let everyone know about that.
Cool. Yeah, I thought there'd be more questions about stuff. So, yeah. Any other questions? General questions then?
We're doing some other meets, but if you got, or one other one, but if you had any questions about the show itself or.
Oh, I see. So Stacy, I see your question. Are you reaching out to our wish list stores and sending them an invitation to the market? Yes, exactly. So that is what we are in the process of doing now. And we have a couple different angles that we're like targeting. So we're looking up all of our old stores that have come, new stores that are on our list, and then also all the stores you guys have requested to on your applications.
So approximately how many buyers are you expecting?
Hard to say. I mean, we've definitely, for in our past shows, we've had a few hundred, but this being virtual, you know, it's kind of like there's a lot of different factors because it's post-COVID. So, you know, it's kind of like we're it's hard to know where everyone's at, but also we have a lot of new shops we're inviting that we could never really expect before because they were from farther away. So
Okay.
yeah, I think we're close to about 100 right now,
Okay.
but definitely starting now, reaching out. So
Okay. Because considering it's a virtual, I mean, are the buyers still from the Washington and neighboring states area, or are you trying to go
and
wide?
beyond, yeah. So we have our kind of our normal pool that typically was like mostly from around the Pacific Northwest. But then now that it's virtual, yeah, we're definitely reaching out.
You're reaching out. Okay.
We definitely have some more like from, I mean, I don't feel like we ever even really had many buyers from California, but we have more from California. But we're really trying to target shops that understand handmade, because I think some people have ideas of like, I want to be in anthropology or North stuff like that. But honestly, I think a lot of people don't realize that they often just like rip people off in their ideas, and or you get one, like my friend sold to anthropology, and you know, you get one order and that's it. They're not like returning orders, and it's a lot of work and a lot of rules. So if you haven't done much wholesale, that would be really daunting. So I think, you know, we feel like we have more success with the shops that are more like the brick and mortar stores that understand handmade. They're going to rep you very well. You're going to like have a relationship with them. And we feel like those are the kinds of shops that A, love urban craft, and B, really like this kind of, you know, relationship with their shop vendors. So,
So how long have you been doing this show?
Urban craft or the wholesale event?
The wholesale, yeah.
When did we start? I feel like, do you remember?
I feel like at least 5 years. So we normally, what we did for a long time was we have a big winter and summer show. And as part of our summer show, we have a final tag on day, which was right after the weekend. So it'd be the Monday right after the summer show. That was wholesale. So that we've been doing, I want to say like pre-COVID, maybe 5 years, 5 or 6. And then the last, we only did one. Then we did one standalone handmade gift show, which was January 2020, right before COVID hit.
Right.
So yeah.
We also used to participate with the Seattle gift show. So that's why we did the handmade gift show solo last year, because we used to have a section at the Seattle gift show, and our vendors really enjoyed it. But sadly, it died. So we kind of felt like there was a hole to fill. But yeah.
I have one more thing to say about the vendors. So the buyers who are already signed up, we actually have a list for you on your vendor portal. So I'm going to share my screen again real quick. If you are, so this is your vendor portal here. If you come down here where it says registered buyers, so this we update as they come in, and this has not been updated for probably about a week. But what I'm doing is I'm updating them not in alphabetical, but just in chronological order. So we'll just keep adding to the bottom of the list here. So at any point you can always just sign on and see, and it'll tell you, you know, the name, where they're from, and then their website too if you want to check out what they're about. So we'll be updating that.
Yeah. You know, we had put in our application that we are in a couple of museums here at San Francisco. So we are not really looking at museums, you know, but it would be nice to have some there if it's possible.
We have some. We've always had, like, the Seattle Art Museum has often come. I saw that the Museum of Glass, I believe, already signed up, and then Chihuly Museum has often come, and
Okay, all right. Sounds great.
Michelle asked, is there a place to link to their catalog and or order form?
There is not right now, but if maybe Kristen, we want to talk about whether that we want to have that be a part of the form.
I mean, that's a hard, like, I think that's something you could also just, you know, as people make appointments with you, you could send those to individual people. But if you guys, like, if the whole here would prefer that, then, you know, we can add that.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, so maybe if that is something you would prefer, I guess, also for people watching this recording, I guess maybe just email us and let us know if we get enough people who want to do that. We can definitely add that as a spot on the booth page. And then I saw Jess also had a question. When a buyer clicks on a product, do you think they're expecting to be taken to our retail price websites or wholesale websites?
Oh, I already answered that one.
Oh, you did? Okay. I didn't hear you, sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Sorry,
I'm thinking about the catalog. I was like, how do we do that? I was like, okay, it'll be PDF. I guess what I was thinking about the catalog was, I'm assuming if you have a catalog to upload, it would be in PDF format. So then it would just be like a link for people. It wouldn't be necessarily a visual thing on your page. So if you wanted it to be a link, and that's also something you could include in your custom text, is just say, here's the link to my catalog. I don't think it would make sense to have it be something that would be actually just displayed static on your page, is what I was.
The idea was kind of to keep this more simplified because we wanted it to be really user friendly to the buyers. So, yeah. Sorry, Jess. I just wrote my answer in the wholesale or the chat, but I said wholesale would be what people would be looking for. Anyways, but I think that was, yeah, you wanted it just pretty streamlined.
So sorry, so you're saying for when they click on the photo, they'll be expecting to see the price at wholesale prices?
Yeah.
If
that's been the
sorry, go ahead.
feeling at the show, because I think it's too confusing, especially if you're a buyer trying to like do the math of what would be, you know, the wholesale price or whatever. So we've taken surveys with our buyers when they've come to our events in real life, and they've always said that it's too confusing if they're the retail price. So they always prefer to see the wholesale price.
If I could see if I could figure something out. So how my wholesale is set up is once a shop registers for wholesale, then they have access to all of the wholesale pricing, which is 50% off. I'm not sure if I could get a link that they could be able to see if they weren't. Is that like a big issue that I should try to work out?
I was going to say that I think actually most wholesale sites, many would require a login for that. So I think it's probably going to be a common issue that people will not be able to necessarily make it public. So I would say, I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Christian and I should talk about this after the meeting's over. But I think that's fine. I mean, I was actually, I think it will be the case that most people will not be able to put their wholesale pricing up, a link to it, just because it is, in my experience, it's like something you have to sign in for. So if it makes, I mean, we can also add a note saying if it's wholesale or retail pricing. Maybe, I don't know, we should talk about it and figure it out. But
if on your page we put a statement saying that the wholesale prices are 50% off the retail prices on our website. So
right.
Yeah, that would be good in the section that you said we could customize, like putting a note in there.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
And I just want to make sure too, so there's not in that section where we can add like a special, there's no spot for a photo there, right?
There's not.
Okay.
So yeah, we're thinking of keeping this pretty simple again, just having it be like, just kind of messaging.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Stacy again. Just going back to the line sheet, I think with the pricing issue on wholesale, it might be better to have access to a line sheet because I don't have a wholesale website, and so my website prices are retail. I mean, if it's confusing, then I think, you know, a line sheet that would have specific wholesale pricing might be easier. I don't know. I guess based on your experience, you know, what do you think the buyers, you know, they want to know the price going to a website, or are they willing to look at a, you know, PDF that has the wholesale pricing in it?
Yeah, I think the PDF would, I mean, would it work for you? I mean, because we can put that in your the custom text box. We could even just say like, to access my line sheet, click here or something. And then if you give us, you know, the link to it, or you can send the PDF and we can upload it.
Okay, could
That might
we
be the easiest
send
way
the
to do
link
it.
like to a Google Drive? Does that work or no?
If there's a way to unprotect it, I mean, usually Google Drive photos and links are protected unless you share them with someone specific. If you can find a way to unprotect it, that should work. But I know, like earlier today, someone had filled out the form and they had, as their image links, had included Google Drive images. That will not work because each one needs permission essentially to view, which I imagine would be the same for a file. But there probably is a way to
No,
make it
you
public.
you can send a PDF and give it a link that's open to anyone. and
Right, as
has
long as
that
exactly.
link.
So if it's anyone can view one, then that should work.
So I have two questions. I don't know whether it's premature. One is that should we be offering a sample of our products, and will we be doing minimums on there for each product or for the minimum order total?
I was a buyer for a long time, and I felt like I didn't really, I mean, samplers were fun because you got free stuff, but I feel like it often went in the garbage, unfortunately, just because you get, I mean, I used to buy at the university bookstore and lots of people wanted to sell there. So it almost became overwhelming. I mean, if you were to send them out to like everyone on the list, I don't think that's necessary. I think if you had a good conversation with someone in a meeting, but they wanted a better understanding or something like that. But I don't think people are expecting it. We're also like in a weird time of the world. So I think asking people for that expense when a lot of makers have suffered tremendously in this last year with no shows and stuff like that going on, I think that's a big ask. But I feel like if you really were excited about a conversation, like a meeting, and wanted to like send them a card with a sample after the fact and was like, I really enjoyed talking to you, I would love to work with you, I feel like that's a good way to go about it.
Okay, thank you.
Did you have another question? I feel like you said you had.
I was asking what the minimums. Should we have product each category minimums, or should we have a, like a vendor minimum?
Lindsay?
Oh, I would say I feel like kind of up to you and kind of what your wholesale terms are. I mean, really, I don't know. I think it could be anything you want, really. But
okay,
yeah.
All right.
I think the minimum, like when we've done the Seattle gift show, people unfortunately somehow like would probably go with a friend that was a buyer, and at that event you could like, people would just like buy stuff for wholesale price, but just like one or two. So I think the minimum was definitely like help to protect vendors from just having people come that wants 50% off of something for a gift for themselves. But I feel like that's another thing with like a conversation in your meeting. I have a feeling a lot of shops have been really hit hard. So they might be more interested in doing consignment opposed to actual wholesale. That's something some vendors do not want to do at all. Some people, like I used to do wholesale and I would make exceptions for shops that I was really excited about. So I feel like you can also, have your terms, but if you are really excited about working with someone, you could always, change them.
So in that case, I mean, we've never considered consignment. We've heard some horror stories. We've only been in business 2.5 years, so we really don't know much. In that case, if we have to consider consignment, are there any reviews from your past vendors about, about the payment terms and everything regarding these stores that may want to do consignment?
I mean, I've had my own fair share of horror stories, but I think part of it was like not doing my due diligence and checking on shops to make sure that they were like selling things. If they weren't, getting it back. But I had some really great experiences and worked with some shops that I had for a long time. So I think it's just it's harder to do this, time around because of COVID. And I just feel like some shops have done pretty well and or even done better than normal times, quote unquote. And then some people have really been hit hard. And then there's some that haven't been open that much at all and just doing online shopping. So they're not selling as much product as they normally do. And then some places have, kind of been business as usual. So,
so this
do your research and then on a shop. If you I would do that sometimes, hey, so-and-so, or I owned a store and I did consignment. So I'd say, if you want to reach out to one of my vendors to see that I pay on time, etc., feel free to do that.
Okay.
And I would give them a name, or this was kind of before so much website stuff. So, I would introduce them to somebody, or you can just do your own research on a store. And if you're excited about working with them but curious, reach out to a different vendor and see how they felt about working with them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm going to backtrack. So up here, there's just had a question. Is there going to be a way for a buyer to get in touch with us to find out our minimum turnaround times, et cetera, without making an appointment? Yes, we're trying to figure out a good chat feature to put on the page so that they can actually chat with you, either real time, or there's the one we're hoping to use, the chat will actually stay there on the page so other people might be able to see the question after the fact, especially because, it might not be exactly real time. The chat feature we used for the winter show was really resource heavy, and so it caused the site to crash. So I'm looking into whether there's some, changes we can make to that one, or if we need to find a new one, but there will be some sort of contact thing that'll allow them to do that. We haven't figured out yet what, but there'll be something on there. Cool. That's all the questions I see. You else have anything they want to ask last minute? So contact info, just your socials for now. So in terms of, are you thinking an email address, Michelle, and answer your question?
Yeah, I was thinking email, phone numbers. Basically.
We don't have those on there as of right now. We're hoping that they'll just get in touch with you and make an appointment, or through this chat feature, and do it that way. I mean, the products will link to your website. So if, I assume there'll be an easy way to get in touch with you that way. So that's probably going to be the main contact that they have.
Okay. Yeah, my only website is an Etsy site, which is retail. So that's limiting for me.
We can always add that in the custom field if you want to add a way for them to get in touch.
Is there not a message feature on Etsy? Etsy has one, right?
They do, but it's sort of, you have to dig a little.
I see.
I think you could use a custom text box for turnaround terms and details. I mean, if you're okay having that just public right off the bat, I think, which is what they've probably seen a line sheet anyway. So yeah, I think that's a good place to put that. In terms of the products, we do want them as early as you can. And the reason we have a deadline of this Friday is just because it's very time consuming to build out the booth. So we want to be able to get as many products in there as we can. If you, for example, only want to put in 2 categories and update them later, we can do that, but we just ask you get them in there as soon as possible, because definitely, especially when it's the weeks leading up to the show, we'll have other stuff that'll, make our plates busier. So we definitely want to get all the booth build outs done just as early as we can. Cool. Well, if there are no other questions, I think we can wrap up. So like Kristen said, we will be recording this and putting it up on the vendor resource page for everyone, so you can refer back to it. And obviously everyone who wasn't able to be here can watch it. So yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks for being here.
It was nice meeting you guys, or seeing
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Have a good rest of your evenings.
Bye.